gems, how you doing? This is Fidiamondintherough, and I am going to continue on Kidding Up Sweet Dreams, Jeremiah Morelli. It is a 75 by 106 from DIYMoon Shop. But in that process, I am also having a chat about where I've been for the last 4 weeks, and I am on day 4. Now, day 4. I was on spoke about day 4 last. Day 4, I did one of the gorges, and it was a class 5, and it was I had a fall. So I'm just going back and remembering bits that I missed. So I had a fall. I had a couple of falls, and one of the things that I actually did when I was the last time I was, no, not the last time I was down, the second last time I was down, all I could think is they're going to be pulling me out of here with a helicopter, because the way I went down, oh my goodness, it hurt. I did my knee. Still have not had it checked out properly. I've gone to a chemist, had a brace on and all that, but I haven't had it checked properly, and I know I should, but I have a reason for not at this stage. One is that if I go and get my knee looked at, I then have to have that included in my medical, whereas if I go and have a medical done and then get my knee looked afterwards, when I go and have my actual medical for work, when I go and have that done, I can actually turn around and say, oh, well, I fell over, or I haven't had it looked at yet. So, yeah, ulterior motive, just so that it doesn't affect my medical at work. And once that's done, I'll go and see my actual doctor. But yeah, I thought I was going to be needing to be airlifted out when I fell. For the parts of me that hurt, I initially thought I'd done my hip, which obviously I haven't, or if I have, I'm doing really well. But no, just my knee, and it shows when I walk. Apparently my son has commented on it. So yeah, some of the other bits I failed to mention is on our second night we discovered, on our third night we discovered that our hot water system we have attached to Nathan's car failed to work. There was a problem with it, so it was broken and we needed to replace it. So that was on the third night, or third afternoon. In that process, I still haven't fixed him up. With resolving that issue, we've contacted my son and organised with him to get one for us and to post it up to us. Now, not for where we were staying at the time, but for the location we were going to be in a few days. Postage of that little article was about $98 to post it. The item itself was just over $200, but yeah, postage was pretty pricey. But that was express post, so that it would be in the next town that we were going to. It would be there when we got there to pick it up from the post office. So yeah, that was one bit I missed, and then the other bit was incidental, that going, oh shit, I haven't given my son the money for it yet. Oh well. Yeah, I better let him know that I haven't given it to him and pay him. Yeah. So yeah, our hot water system died, and we were washing out of a bucket of boiled water. Fun times that. Okay, so after doing the last gorge where I'd fallen, we had actually packed up camp, I think. Yeah, and we'd packed up camp, but when we fell, we had to go and find. Was it? No, we hadn't. I have no idea where we stayed that night. We went Beringarra and then 3 nights. So no, that night we were still at Dale's campground at Carrageenan. Yeah. So with that being done, the next morning we packed camp up because we had to move to another location. We couldn't stay where we were, but we're still checking out the area. Yeah, no, I'm not going to try and squeeze any more into that. So we're still checking out the area. So we went to a free campsite. Now, a free campsite can be just about anything. It's just, you can go side of the road, go bush and find somewhere to stay that way. Or car parking bay, car parking stop. Where we stopped was called a toll stop, which is actually a lot of it's not toll as in cost. We actually have a carrier called TOLL toll, and a lot of their trucks stop there overnight. It was also beside a railway track which belonged to Rio Tinto, which is one of the mines mines here in WA. Does iron ore, big trains, same type of trains that we run at BHP. So yeah, we had trains running through that site all through the night. Here I should be able to show you a top-down picture of where we were camped, with in amongst all that red dirt. Yeah. Lots of red dirt, lots of. So yeah, that was that night. Where did we go? We went and explored some more places. I can't remember fully. Some of it is an absolute blur because we saw so many gorges and did so many walks. Day after that, we were booked to stay at the Eco Lodge, Carrageenan Eco Lodge Resort. Yeah, that's got permanent tents, plus there's showers there, and a restaurant and all of that. So a little bit of luxury in an environment where you don't get much luxury. 894. However, we got there and they had a burst pipe and they were waiting for it to be fixed. Now they are so remote that it was going to take another 3 days before it was repaired. They were actually still waiting for the truck to arrive with the parts, and they were having a truck cart in water. So with that happening, we had a lovely little situation where we had paid for somewhere but we would have showers. We also had booked for the restaurant for 2 nights, but because they had no running water or no permanent running water and it was all being tanked in, it was not quality for you couldn't have in a restaurant. So we couldn't get a restaurant, so we only decided to stay there 1 night. We were booked there for 2 nights. Okay, so we were booked in for 2 nights there, but we only stayed the 1 and we left early. Supposed to have been a lovely experience, but the restaurant was supposed to have really amazing food. I saw the menu and before we went up and I went, oh yeah, that's going to be really yummy. And then lo and behold, restaurant not opening. So we actually got refunded on 1 night because we decided not to stay the 2nd night. So yeah, from then we took a drive and I missed one section, which is really a really cool section. I'll put a pop a picture in here, a few pictures in here. Before we got to Carrageenan, we called into Newman. Now Newman is actually where the mine, which is where some of the trains run that I actually am a controller for. So we called in there. I put on Facebook that I checked into Newman, the town of Newman, and some of the train drivers, or one of the train drivers, who I'm on Facebook Messenger with, friends with, turned around and hunted me down and came and found me. Not meaning in the nastiest way. He came and with a couple of other train drivers and said hello. They met Nathan and they met the rest of the group, and then they turned around and went, "I will take you up to the lookout." So the lookout was pretty cool, and you'll actually see a picture of the guys. Concentrating here, sorry. A picture of the guys, the train drivers that I met. So one I knew, the other one I had already been talking to previously, or, obviously I talked to the drivers, I just never met them in person. And one was also a train driver, so it was really cool to see. Nathan got to see a little bit different side of me because I was interacting with these guys as if I was at work. Yeah, swearing and all. Nathan knows I swear. Heck, he knows I swear. But he didn't know how much I swear, especially when I'm at work. So yeah, that was something that we saw. And then, so that was going, that was just something I thought I would share. But when we left Karajini, we went, it was probably our longest day as a group. It was our longest day as a group. Okay, hang on. Next bag. Let's grab these out. Drop some. It's a lot of those. Let's go sort through the next lot of numbers. 917, 939, 948. Okay, so we went from 1967. We went from Karajini, and then we went Port Hedland, which is where we had organised for the shower to be sent. 96730, 917, 948. There we go. So we went to Port Hedland. Now Port Hedland, yet again another location where I work with people that are in Port Hedland. But we went there because we had organised for the shower to be sent there. So yeah, first thing we did, we got into town. Well, I knew that we'd been notified that it had arrived in that the package had arrived in Port Hedland. We straight to the post office to go pick that up, and also straight after that we went to the laundromat because we need to wash clothes. We were washing clothes by hand, but it's a little bit quicker when you take it to the laundromat. 35759. Let's move these along. 3860, 3861, 3859. There we go. So yeah, Port Hedland laundromat, some more food because we just needed a few more things. Thankfully not much, but just a little bit. Oops, getting a sore back here. I haven't done this for ages. So we did the shopping, and then while we were doing the shopping, it was like, well, where are we going to stay? Nathan, we wanted to keep going as far as we can. So for us to go, because we'd stopped for so long in Port Hedland, so as far as we could, without having to worry about setting up camp, Nathan organised a location to stay at a roadhouse. So this is our first night since we started our trip that we were in a real bed, and I think that was like a week. We'd been in the tent sleeping bag for about a week. Come on. Just can't get that right, can I? Yeah, so Nathan got that and we drove, and boy did we drive. We travelled, I don't know how many kilometres, but we got there well after sunset. We got there about 9 o'clock at night, so well and truly after sunset. 9 o'clock at night we got there, just on 9, so we were very fortunate that Nathan rung ahead and booked the rooms, because otherwise we wouldn't have had anywhere and we would have had to set up camp. And at that time of night, no thank you. That's when people set up camp angry and cranky, and they wake up in the morning cranky. But we were setting up, we stayed there for the night. There was no restaurant, or the roadhouse was closed for food. So we had to I'm trying to work out sizes of stuff. So we had to turn around and let's see if that might fit in one of the mediums. Not one of those. Hi, I had to put the camera back on charge and organise some more of the larger containers. Okay, so yeah, we stayed there at Sandfire for the night. 939. So yeah, Sandfire for the night. Noodles for dinner. We were up early, and the plan was up early, get out as quickly as we could, and head to our next location, which we actually hadn't fully settled on. So we spent an extra hour and a half at this roadhouse trying to settle on a location where we were staying for the next night. So I used wip'n'chat. I came across one spot. No, they're talking about Langley Crossing or something like that. It was called Langley Crossing. And I've turned around, looked up wip'n'chat. So I've got one location. A mate's wife looked up another website, and she got that same spot, but she got a different location. And what I mean by location, I mean GPS point. So the decision was we'll go with her GPS point. And yeah, obviously by me saying they didn't use mine, they used hers, there's something happened. So we eventually piled off. Nathan was pissed off that we'd been sitting there for so long and wasted so much time and trying to work out where to go. But we hit the road again. We went past the destination point that I had, the GPS that I had, and went, okay, well, that's where my thing's saying we need to go in. Maybe that's not right. We got to the GPS location for the other location, and geez, that's a lot of colour. Turned around, we went into that site. Now that site, you actually drive in, and it was actually to a station. I stopped and got out to look at what was written on the gate, because there's stations where people will let you actually go through and stations where you don't. Now this one had that it was closed, so we couldn't go through. So we backtracked, and there was a little sign that said fisherman's cutting, and it was like, well, we'll take this risk of going in. And that's where we found this location. Now I've got some drone footage some overhead sights that are absolutely amazing. While we're there, out came the fishing rods, and everyone had a go at fishing them, me included. I didn't cast the fishing rod, but I did reel it in and didn't get any bites. I don't think anybody got any bites, but it's not about catching, is it? It's about the experience. So I keep getting told. I'm trying to get that into that. Hopefully I can get it in there, because I only have 2 more big ones. Oh, okay. From there, hang on. So yeah, we set up camp there. The guys put the lines out. We all had to go fishing. I got my drone up there and got some footage of our campsite and also the river and the sunset. It was absolutely stunning there. So hopefully you're enjoying these images that I'm sharing with you. Okay. But absolutely beautiful to see. So yeah, we stayed there for one night and then we were off again. Next location, we're heading to Fitzroy, and the guys had this idea that they would go find a free camp close to Fitzroy Crossing. I've actually turned around and said to Nathan, "You're not going to get free camping at Fitzroy Crossing." Which turned out to be correct. We didn't get, it's not about getting free camping, it's whether you wanted free camping. In the area there's no free camping available. Normally you get parking bays and all sorts of stuff offered up north for people to use, like the caravans and all that. However, at Fitzroy Crossing this was not available within a 25-kilometre radius. The risk of some of the things that can happen while you were there, not a good location to stay. The daughter of the people we went with, she turned around and absolutely horrified and went, "We are not staying here." Not being rude or mean, it actually is not a good place to stay. Everything is barred up. It's quite confronting if you actually do go there to see. When some people live in a very sheltered life, to see the way that this very small town was. I'm treading carefully here with what I say because I don't want to insult anyone. I'd been to Fitzroy Crossing before and I had I had full understanding why we couldn't find camp spots. But yeah, we eventually found a campsite. We had to backtrack to get there, but we eventually got a campsite, thankfully. And I've got drone footage that I took of the campsite and the surrounds. Absolutely stunning. We set up camp and initially, I need a bigger one than that. I'll go that one. We set up camp and I put the drone up. The first spot that Nathan parked the car in, it's really funny, you'll see this little bit of footage. He stopped the car and went, "Rightio, we'll park here." And then I've actually gone, "Guys, you need to stop and look at where you're parking the car." The side where out of so the side, the passenger side, which is where I get in and out of the car and where I cart gear from, which was also the side where the shower goes, was in spinifex, so really prickly bush. Not good, not good, not a good spot to go. So they've had to move, and that was after they had the annexes out, so they've had to actually move the vehicle 3371 to be able to, I suppose, park where no one was going to get injured. But it was an amazing amazing place to get the drone up. Absolutely loved getting the drone up here. The rock formations, it was actually a reef system, 250,000 years before Devonian reef system. So hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of footage while I'm waffling on. Yeah, so we stayed there the night, we set up camp. They had I didn't, because I don't eat breakfast normally. They had bacon and eggs for breakfast, and on our nights we did camp, when we had campfires we did do damper. So yeah, we packed up there and then we went to Geeky Gorge. We went to Fitzroy Crossing, and in Fitzroy Crossing was Geeky Gorge, which was, my goodness, so beautiful. I had been there as a kid, and I'd forgotten what it was like. Yeah, I don't know whether you'd say beauty, but it was just amazing to see. Now this had, Geeky Gorge was full of freshwater crocodiles, so little crocodiles, little snapping handbags. Their mouths are too small, they don't eat, they aren't man-eater type things like a saltwater crocodile is. Yeah. But we saw so many on them. We did a boat cruise and, we're taken right down, fair way down Geeky Gorge, and things pointed out to us. I do have some video footage which you are looking at now. But yeah. Then we did Geeky Gorge, then we were off from there. We went to the location, a place that I picked, which was Mimby Caves. Mimby Caves, they had their own campsite, which when we got there I was amazed with it. It was a really, really, really nice campsite. You had running water, kitchen facilities there, as in hot running water, and there was also barbecue, so you could cook on their barbecues. They had a massive campfire or fire pit all set up. We didn't stay there because we didn't go down there. We were a bit late getting in. But yeah, Mimby Caves. So we did the campsite, and we had the tour booked for the following day, Monday morning. One of the things with Mimby Caves is if you're going to go and you want to actually do the tour, you have to book online. You can't get into the tour any other way. We bumped into two people that had come to the Mimby Caves campsite and didn't realise that they actually had to book the tour as well. So they were able to stay at the campsite, but because they hadn't booked the tour, they couldn't do the tour. They only do the tour in numbers of about 30, and that they break that down into two groups of 15 approximately. So the tour is not a big group, and it's well contained, and it's a really cool intimate group. We did Mimby Caves. I'll see if I can pop some pictures in here of Mimby Caves. Beautiful, stunning. Stunning to see. Rosie, Rose, who was our guide, was phenomenal. And then at the end of it, so hopefully you're liking some of these pictures, at the end of it we had damper and a bit of she told us a little bit more about her people, and yeah, it was really good tour. Highlight of the trip at that stage, and even now, having completed the trip, that was still the highlight of the trip, so it was absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, from there we went to Wolf Creek. Yeah, we went to Wolf Creek. So for anybody that's seen in the movie Wolf Creek Crater, that was where we went to. We went to Wolf Creek and had a look at Wolf Creek Crater. We did the whole circle. We actually have a tracking device that I wore that we took wherever we went, the whole trip. And we did the whole circle, which I can show you a picture of that now to check out. So yeah, that was amazing to see. Now, we spent 2 nights there. While we were there, I had the movie Wolf Creek on my Surface, actually on my hard drive, my portable hard drive, and the couple we were with wanted to see it, and instead of playing it on my Surface, it was like, oh well, we'll transfer it onto yours and you can check it out when because they didn't want to play it while their daughter was around, because their daughter's a bit young. Didn't want to creep her out too much, scare her. And in that process of transferring the information, my hard drive got reformatted. So I actually lost my pictures. A lot of my footage that I'd taken, which you have seen some of it, a lot of it was lost. I will say I've managed to restore some of it, but some stuff I will never get back. Some of the stuff that I had on there was actually YouTube stuff, but all my pictures of my trip to Egypt were on there, so I've lost so much stuff. Very fortunate. I paid about $150. I got some of the data back, but not all. So yeah, Wolf Creek, we did the walk. Nathan is obsessed with Wolf Creek. So he was in his absolute element there. He loves his horror movies, but yeah, he was having a blast. So yeah, 2 nights there. One of those nights was I ended up on Valium because I'd lost so much information, lost so much. So that was a pretty hard thing on the trip for me to deal with. And yeah, I think, well, I'm just about finished kitting up here now. Another short little video, just a little trip video. So the next, what I will do is next, when I actually start working on this one, I'll continue on the story of our holidays, and yet again sharing more images of the trip. I will say the last video that I do for this will be quite interesting, because I will share with you some of the drama that actually happened on this trip. So yeah, there was drama, but I won't discuss that until the end of the stories. So yeah, on that note, I will say, gems, thank you for listening and bearing with me right to the end now. And the next steps are actually, the next parts of the travel is from Punalulu, used to be called the Bungle Bungles. And I think that's it. I am kitted up with a lot of excess. I'm going to have to find something to do with those. 3861, last bags. But yeah, Punalulu, and then we're on our way. We start, basically we get to Punalulu and we kind of on our way back after Punalulu. But we spent 3 nights Punalulu. We did plan, no, we spent 2 nights, but we did actually plan for 3. So we will touch on that when we go to the next one. But hopefully you've enjoyed some of the images that I managed to recover for this. But I am all kitted up and good to go, and that's when you will get my next lot of travel chat. So yeah, on that note, gems, thank you for watching and bye for now.